So today's guest is Joe Davies, the director of Host So Simple, an Airbnb management company in Liverpool that have over 100 properties. So welcome, Joe, to the podcast. It's so great to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So speaking of parties, how do you kind of deal with those situations, and have you had any horror stories around sort of big groups and parties breaking out in your apartments?
Yeah, so obviously it's a common concern about our industry, and rightfully so. I think ultimately you have a responsibility as a host to be aware of this and to be super mindful about how you're operating in light that this world exists. I can count on one hand the amount of serious issues we've had where we've had to evict guests in over probably 20,000 plus bookings now, and that's not luck, that's not by accident, that's by using the tools available to us to try and weed these guys out. I think it's always going to be a problem, and no one can sit here and say I don't have these types of guests, as ultimately without holding a hand into the property and sitting in there with them, you have to trust your guests to a certain degree, and as human beings sometimes people get carried away. And I think for us, the tools that we use to try and reduce the problems we have is firstly how you handle inquiries. Every single guest who stays with us, whether it's Airbnb, Booking.com, TripAdvisor, Home Away, or VRBO as it's called these days, and any channel, we have to ask what is the purpose for their stay, what is the age range, and what are the plans while they're here. That's not to be nosy, that's not to judge them, that's purely to see how they respond as a guest. Some guests completely can read between the lines and say, I need to you're basically interviewing me here to say, am I a trusted person? And they'll give a nice comprehensive response and even understand what we're getting at and say, we'll have no problems from us, we're here for a birthday, but we're not a loud bunch, and we be respectful of properties at all times, blah blah blah. And that's stage one, just to understand. Some people won't respond and we have to chase, and then eventually from a phone call we realize maybe they're not the guest for us from how they've dealt with that situation. Some people will outright tell us we're coming for an 18th birthday party. Great, that's good to know, because that's not suitable in our properties as per our house rules. And the second thing to do is offer them the chance. We're not doing it to catch them out, to say we have a huge selection of properties that are suitable for all types of occasions. So if this isn't suitable for why you're coming, we can relocate you to one that is, or put you in the right direction of someone else who hosts in that regard. So we've had plenty of occasions where we don't want people coming to Liverpool to have a great time, to come and celebrate, to be looking over the shoulder all the time, pretending that they're coming to play board games and have cups of coffee. Like we know that a big pull of Liverpool is the nightlife scene, and there's plenty of apartments that we manage which are more than suitable for that type of situation and area. So guests like the fact that they have the option to be relocated almost, and it's not that we're trying to. And then once they book and we're happy with that answer, we then through Airbnb we tend to keep it as is, because we've got reviews. So if we can see reviews, we wouldn't go down this route. But if they don't have reviews, we send what we call our portal link. So I won't get too boring with the tech of this, but essentially it's an API plugin that we've had built by a developer or freelancer. It cost me no more than £500, and it plugs into our PMS software, which is Guesty. Probably would have been a question. And Guesty is great in a lot of ways, but limited in some. So this plugs into the back end of Guesty, and essentially it asks guests to do a walkthrough of, can you confirm you read our house rules? It asks them to individually tick each house rule so that they can say they've read it. Do an e-signature on the bottom saying, I understand I'll be evicted without warning if I break any of these and could be charged a full deposit. We then take a copy of their ID and a deposit as well through a credit card, separate from the channel, which we put in our house rules. Is that something that we take and is fully permitted within all channels? And then they then get verified, and they don't receive any check-in instructions until they've gone through that portal link. And essentially it's letting them know, if you're gonna cause any problems at a party, this is not the place to do it, and that we are well set up to deal with these type of issues. So we have a lot of people who, once they get the portal link, will cancel the booking. And for me, that's not a loss. That's a part of the industry that we need to play our role in, and to be responsible with how we host. And that's how we have had much better luck with our vetting than maybe others have had. And I think the last thing to say is noise sensors. Noise sensors can be seen as a bit of a fad, but they are amazing for us. We have a dashboard with all of our properties showing us when they breach the acceptable threshold for that time of day. And I've made a few of these calls personally in my time, and most of the time it's people saying, oh, sorry, I didn't realize we were watching the telly, we had the music on, or we were playing a game and we've all got a bit excited, apologies. And I can see on a line graph the noise dive pretty much within 5 minutes and stay low for the rest of the night. And that intervention lets them know someone knows and is watching, not in a creepy Big Brother style way. We can't listen to what they're saying, we can't listen to the conversations, it's purely the decibels, but it also helps helps us manage our portfolio and reach out before maybe a neighbour has to reach out, which is the ultimate failure if a guest has stayed and disturbed neighbours. So yeah, there's plenty of tools we use to try and keep that record.
Do you use Minutes for your noise monitoring?
We actually use NoiseAware, but we are looking to move to Minutes because it offers more features now. So yeah, we are looking to move to that, but NoiseAware does the job. It works, but we're always looking to improve our tech, and yeah, that's on our pipeline.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw Minutes have introduced tobacco monitoring, tobacco smoke monitoring.
Yes,
as one of that. I don't know if that's kind of been brought into their product or whether they're just doing marketing to let people know it's coming.
Yeah, but it's a great idea.
Yeah, that's
it's
great.
a really good idea, and it's something the industry needs. And I'm constantly blown away by when I speak to people just in general day-to-day life, and they think my business is niche Airbnb management. I say wait until you see some of the businesses within our industry, like who have piggybacked on this entire world, and that's a great example.
Yeah.